Not great news.
Caitlin Clark,
one of the key players,
will be out a minimum of 2 weeks
with a quadriceps.
That stinks for the Fever, obviously. That stinks for our city.
We don't know how bad it is.
That sucks for everybody.
Everything just shifted dramatically. Pat McAfee is going viral right now after revealing a shocking truth about Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark will be out for at least 2 weeks.
Caitlin Clark has suffered a left quadriceps strain and will be out a minimum of 2 weeks.
That also stinks for the WNBA as a whole.
And it's the kind of reality the WNBA can't sweep under the rug anymore. McAfee didn't sugarcoat anything. He told it exactly how it is. Caitlin Clark is the main attraction, the face, and the future of this league.
Caitlin Clark is the needle mover.
She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP.
She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
Her absence isn't just about being hurt. It's exposing a harsh truth the league has tried to avoid facing head-on.
Christine Brennan. She said, "This is such unfortunate news for Caitlin Clark, of course, and the Fever. It's also terrible news for the WNBA, which relies on Clark for so much attendance, viewership, social media, merchandise, in a way no sports league has ever before. I've asked the WNBA for comment."
With ticket sales collapsing and fans losing interest, we're about to break down how one superstar is literally holding the league together, and why the world is finally waking up to her impact. If you're all in for Caitlin Clark, drop 100% for her in the comments now. Let's give her the love she's earned.
It is undeniable that Caitlin Clark is the engine.
Caitlin Clark effect. There has been so much of an influx in attendance, in jersey sales, and viewership, all the things.
That's about star power, narrative, and likability.
Caitlin Clark comes into the WNBA, goes through college. She has panache. She has style.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
She's so good at basketball.
Just minutes ago, Pat McAfee set social media ablaze with a powerful truth bomb that's shaking the basketball world. Sitting on his show with trademark energy, McAfee stared into the camera and said it plainly. Caitlin Clark is the game changer. The Indiana Fever are the draw, and without her, everything feels different.
Caitlin Clark will be out for at least 2 weeks. She has a quad strain that has been bugging her since training camp. Caitlin Clark is the needle mover. The Indiana Fever are the draw. They're going to be without CC for at least a couple weeks as she rests and tries to heal up a quad strain. That sucks for everybody.
That clip? It's already being shared thousands of times per minute. This isn't just a bold opinion. McAfee is saying what millions of fans believe, but no one in the WNBA dared to admit. Caitlin Clark isn't just another athlete. She's the reason people are tuning in. The moment she was ruled out with a left quad strain, ticket prices plunged by a stunning 42%, and the energy that surrounded every Fever matchup began to disappear.
Indiana Fever tickets have dropped 42% for the games in the next 2 weeks. Unfortunately, people deciding to not watch the game anymore because Caitlin Clark was the reason.
He didn't stop there. Pat McAfee straight up said this injury doesn't just affect the Indiana Fever, it impacts the entire WNBA.
Peterson said Caitlin Clark's left quad strain is a new injury, I'm told. It is not related to her left quad injury from training camp that forced her to miss the preseason opener.
It stinks for the Fever, it stinks for our city, and it stings for the league, he said. And the data proves his point. With Clark out, arenas that were packed just days earlier are now half empty. The viral scenes of sold-out crowds have vanished.
The Caitlin Clark effect is going to be tabled, and we're going to find out what kind of ratings and attendance we see for the Indiana Fever in her absence. One thing I can tell you is that ticket scalpers are taking a beating.
And here's where things get even more serious. McAfee called this a defining moment. This right here will be the ultimate test.
It is unfortunate that she did go down with an injury. I think this is such a big deal because of the weight that she has, the weight that she carries on her shoulders for the success of the WNBA, or much of it, many of the viewership, much of the ratings, attendance in the arena.
Also seeing a lot of fans saying that they are just not going to watch, they're not going to go to the games, they're going to sell their tickets because Caitlin isn't playing.
A major wake-up call for the WNBA. For months, the message was that the league stands on more than just Caitlin Clark. But now that she's sidelined, we're about to find out if the momentum can last without her. And if it can't, the league will have to face the truth. Caitlin Clark is the WNBA right now. McAfee's brutal honesty is exactly why his comments are catching fire. He just voiced what fans have known all along, but the league kept ignoring.
She averages 19 points, 9.3 assists, and 6 rebounds a game, and nobody even comes close to the assists.
Caitlin Clark is the most valuable figure in women's basketball. Full stop. If anyone still questioned her importance to the WNBA, her absence has made it crystal clear. Pat McAfee's viral comments weren't just hype, they were grounded in fact. And now we're diving into the cold, undeniable data that proves Caitlin Clark isn't just a star. She's the heartbeat of the entire league. Let's begin with her numbers. She's averaging 19 points, 9.3 assists, and 6 rebounds per game.
She looks like a varsity player going against JV. She had 5 rebounds in 19 seconds.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
5 rebounds in 19 seconds. I know everybody's saying, like, you shouldn't be able to do that, you're whatever the case. But imagine if she starts putting those in. I mean, that's going to be, she's potentially getting 40-40.
And she's just a rookie. Her 9.3 assists per game don't just lead the Fever. They blow the rest of the WNBA out of the water. No one else even comes close. Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, 2 of Indiana's top talents, are averaging only 2.3 assists each. Think about that. Clark is creating nearly every major offensive play for the team, and she's not just racking up points.
The jerseys, the number 22, the various styles, whether it's a t-shirt with 22, whether it's an Iowa jersey, whether it's a Fever jersey, a throwback, I mean, whatever. The amount of people in yellow 22 apparel is stunning.
She's elevating everyone around her. That's not an opinion, it's clear in the footage. Watch Aaliyah Boston's highlights. A large number of her scores are set up directly by Clark. When Caitlin's in the game, the team plays in sync. The ball moves quicker, the floor opens. Defenses stretch thin. She dictates the pace. She's not just a point guard, she's the quarterback, the facilitator, and the emotional core. But it's not just Indiana feeling her absence. Caitlin Clark has completely transformed WNBA viewership, ticket demand, and merchandise sales. Christine Brennan said it best. The league depends on Clark for everything. Social media blew up. Jersey sales, all about number 22. TV numbers? Just look.
The United Center game that they're playing with the Chicago Sky was supposed to be over 20,000 people in attendance, was supposed to be the most attended WNBA game in history.
Every single one of the top 20 most watched WNBA games this season has something in common. Caitlin Clark was in the lineup. So what happened the second her injury was announced? Ticket sales immediately nosedived by 42%. Games that were nearing sellout suddenly had empty sections. One matchup, Fever versus Sky in Chicago, was on track to set a WNBA attendance record with over 20,000 fans.
Indiana Fever are ranked number 3 in offense in the league.
But after news of her injury broke, that game is now uncertain, with the excitement quickly dying down. Even Indiana's offensive performance is taking a hit. With Clark, the Fever were ranked 3rd in overall offense league-wide. Without her, the team is struggling to maintain rhythm, spacing, and ball control. Coach Stephanie White is now mixing up rotations, testing veteran Sid Colson at point guard, and keeping Sophie Cunningham as a bench spark. But no one can replace what Clark delivers. It's not even close.
Steph White did tell the media that in Caitlin Clark's stead, she will be starting Sydney Colson at the point.
This is as trying to figure out new rotations, who's going to run point. Have you kind of nailed that down yet ahead of tomorrow?
Yeah, we're going to start Sydney point tomorrow. We're going to give that a look. Sophie's going to get a heavy dose of it as well. The other thing that we love is what Sophie and or Lexi, whichever one, brings us from the bench and having that spark, having that punch. So we're gonna look at Sid in that starting lineup to start.
Let's talk about the psychological blow too. Caitlin's absence goes beyond stats. It hits the team's momentum hard. The vibe shifts, the energy drops, the national spotlight fades. Clark isn't just another player. She's the main event, the highlight machine, the attraction. She's why ESPN gives the WNBA primetime coverage. McAfee pointed it out. Christine Brennan reported it, and fans feel it. The WNBA's meteoric rise this season isn't random. It's tied to one name, Caitlin Clark. When she went down with a left quad strain, the shock wasn't just about a few missed games. It became a wake-up call for the entire league. Suddenly, the WNBA had to stare down a tough question. What does the league look like without Caitlin Clark? The answer came fast and clear. It's not the same, not even close. And inside the Indiana Fever, Coach Stephanie White addressed that reality head-on. In her press conference after the injury, she said, "We're treating her like a franchise player because she is one."
You know, there's so many things when you think about Caitlin and her not wanting to miss games. Obviously, she's a competitor, wants to play. Obviously, everyone wants to watch her play. You know, but for me, it's maintaining perspective, right? It's making sure that we address this in a way that doesn't affect long term. That we take care of it. Don't over push. Don't overexert. Making sure that we take the long game approach to this, so that we're not having lingering issues throughout the course of the season. And I'm glad that, you know, sometimes great players don't tell you when they're hurting. I'm glad that she did, because we need to nip this.
That's not a phrase you hear often in the WNBA, but for Clark, it fits. The Fever's entire offensive blueprint revolves around her court vision, her pace, her shooting range, and her leadership. Losing her isn't a minor tweak, it's a complete identity crisis. The team had to scramble fast. Veteran Sid Colson was named the starting point guard.
Sid Colson, you know, she has not had any minutes. She has not had a lot of court presence this season, but she does have a lot of veteran experience at the point.
Colson has barely seen the court this season, but Stephanie White is banking on her experience and composure. Still, no one expects Colson to match what Clark brings. That's not shade. It's just reality. Then there's Sophie Cunningham, who stepped up big during the preseason when Clark was out. Now she's expected to spark offense off the bench and provide scoring. But even when she shines, it only reminds everyone what's missing: the leader who makes everything click. And here's the bottom line. Despite all these lineup changes, the Fever's strategy still centers around Caitlin Clark's return. That's how vital she is. Coach White is preserving chemistry so the team doesn't have to rebuild when Clark's back. This isn't a normal injury sub. It's survival mode until the star returns.
But it seems like this is something in her left quad and her left leg, that she has been dealing with something, but the Indiana Fever have said that she will be out a minimum of 2 weeks.
But this goes way beyond strategy. The media reaction to her absence made one thing impossible to ignore. Caitlin Clark is the pulse of the league. Analysts, radio hosts, and former pros are all saying the same thing. This is a huge test for the WNBA, and right now, they're not passing. Pat McAfee called it a litmus test. Dan Dockich went even further, saying the WNBA is learning how devastating it is to lose a real superstar. He compared her cultural impact to Peyton Manning in his Colts prime, and added that he's never seen more number 22 jerseys in Indiana, not even during Manning's NFL heyday.
She's the face of the league. Agreed.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball, period.
It also shows just how fragile the WNBA's fan base really is. As soon as Clark's injury went public, thousands of fans backed out, canceling tickets, listing them for resale, and saying they'd skip upcoming games. It's harsh, but it's honest. And for a league that's fought for national relevance for decades, it's a clear reminder that Clark isn't just a rookie. She's their golden ticket. Even the marketing side is taking a hit. Games moved to bigger arenas just to handle Clark's fan base are now falling flat in sales. Social media traction has dropped. Jersey orders slowed. TV crews are rushing to rework broadcasts that were designed around her. And while it may feel like a setback, it's actually proof of her dominance. Her value isn't limited to scoring or passing. It's her star power. She brings the spotlight. She sells the seats. She makes arenas electric.
the arenas have been moved on away games to the massive stadium. So you wonder if, those screenshots, you talk about the litmus test, the screenshots from those arenas without Caitlin Clark now might be very, very bad. But it is a bummer. She was, going to win the MVP. Still might. That's not out of the question at all, but she was the betting favorite.
She trends across social media every single night. And the second she's missing, the WNBA suddenly feels silent. At the same time, fans have pointed out that even her recent struggles weren't due to performance issues, but injury.
I will say that I noticed in the last couple games, because I feel like the last 2 games she did not play well. She might have done well statistically, although she didn't shoot well from 3. And I know a lot of people were wondering, why is she in this shooting slump? It seems like now we know. A lot of you guys, when we were in the live watch parties, a lot of you were commenting that she was sick. You could hear it in her voice that she was sick. It seems like at this point, this is the reason why we haven't seen Caitlin at 100%. We haven't seen her as quick as we saw her last season.
Footage and transcripts confirm she was using heating pads on her leg, massaging her quad on the bench, and clearly slowing down on fast breaks. What looked like a dip in her shooting was actually her pushing through visible pain.
Now, there have also been some videos going around online where Caitlin has been using like heating packs and ice packs on her legs, not ice packs, but heating packs during the game. And there's also been clips where she's on the bench and she's kind of rubbing her leg. And so it seems like there have been multiple occasions where it had been bothering her and nobody just knew to what extent that was.
That just adds to the respect she's earned. She wasn't simply showing up. She was fighting injury, pushing past it, and still carrying her franchise. And there's a mental aspect here too. This isn't just about momentum, it's about growth. Back in preseason when Clark was sidelined, she said it helped her see the game from a different angle.
That's nice.
And she was shooting the shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right, so she was shooting the shit out of it. And
she's the face of the league.
Agreed.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. She's so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. Us Midwesterners, we tend to just, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlin Clark.
She called it a chance to view things like a coach would. Now she's getting that experience again, and when she returns, she'll be sharper, tougher, and even more prepared to lead. Not just the Indiana Fever, but the entire WNBA into a new era. Because here's the reality. Caitlin Clark's impact doesn't end when she's off the court. She still sparks every sports debate, headlines every show, and stays at the center of every conversation. That's influence, that's presence. And even while sidelined, she remains the face of the WNBA.
I didn't plan to shoot that logo 3. I know coming into the game, everybody wanted me to shoot one from there. But Steph was like, was supposed to come out at the end of the third, so she's like, give a foul, give a foul, give a foul. And then it was 30 seconds on the clock, which between 30 to 33, that's like your 2-for-1 range where you have to get one up. So I saw 30 as we're inbounding the ball, which probably is inbounding the ball at 30, probably a little low. But I was like, why not?
So now you've seen the full picture. Pat McAfee voiced what everyone else was too hesitant to say, and now the stats, the fan reaction, and the reality confirm it. Caitlin Clark isn't just a breakout star. She's the force that's pulling the entire WNBA upward. Her absence has laid bare just how crucial she is, to her team, to the league, and to the future of women's hoops. But let's be clear, this isn't the end. It's just a pause. The comeback is on its way. And when Caitlin Clark steps back onto the court, the cheers will be louder, the lights brighter, and the world will be watching. Because legends aren't just known for what they do on the floor, they're defined by how deeply they're missed when they're gone.
Caitlin Clark is Indiana Fever's leading scorer at over 19 points a game. Caitlin Clark is undeniably the offensive engine.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
And she's so good at basketball.
Because she's that awesome person and she has like a lot of aura, so like.
Cannot deny the impact that she's made on this sport.
If you believe in Caitlin Clark, if you're riding with her no matter what, flood the comments with 100% for Caitlin. Show her that the fans are still here. And if this video hit you hard, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it. Because this is bigger than basketball, it's a movement. and Caitlin Clark is at the center of it. We'll keep you posted. Until then, stay passionate, stay loyal, and stay 100% behind Caitlin.